Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker, and this is our day trading recap for Monday, October 9th. So in this video, we'll take a look at our day trading opportunities from today. So starting here on our market overview tab, as you can see, we have the SPY, the US dollar index, the 10-year bond yields, and the volatility index, or the VIX. So we'll start here on our S&P 500. As you can see, pretty nice green day today coming in the stock market, getting a push off the open here to get a rejection kind of here at that midline, pulling back into the open, which did kind of line up with these previous highs back here from Tuesday. As you see, getting a nice bounce off that level, coming up, filling that gap, pulling into our midline, and then getting a nice extension to the upside. If you look here at the dollar and the 10-year yield, as you see a really big gap up in the dollar, really the main reason when you see something like this, when you see a gap down in the 10-year yield and a gap up in the dollar, that's typically a safety kind of fear trade, right? Because, we have that war going on that started this weekend in the Middle East. So as you can see, we have people flocking to the dollar for kind of that safety, and then you have a sell-off in bonds. With this kind of price action, I was bullish on the stock market, surprisingly, even though we did have like kind of a new war start. The main reason for that is the 10-year bond yields, right? I saw like a very bearish postured 10-year yield. As you can see here, getting that big gap up in the morning, getting a push into Friday's lows, and then getting a big rejection at Friday's lows. So if you look here at the stock market, as you can see, we have the stock market pulling back here from about that 945 to 1045 mark. And we also had bond yields selling off at the exact same time. So typically when bonds sell off, the market goes higher. So I was bullish on the day because of how bearish the 10-year yield looked, right? As you can see, kind of, we had a major support level here, and I was kind of expecting that level to break. And as you can see, we had a ton of room to the downside. As you can see, coming down to this significant level here from a couple weeks ago, right? Breaking down through this major support, getting a big move to the downside. So I was bullish on the day because of the 10-year yield. If you look at the VIX, we had a massive gap up in the VIX as well. And I thought this was honestly just pretty overextended. As you can see, we had a lot of room down to that midline. And that midline did line up with these previous support levels here from the past couple of days. So I did think the VIX could get a pullback, toward that level. As you can see, that's exactly what it did. Bouncing right off that level before eventually rolling over and coming down here and basically filling that gap level. So we were looking for call options today based off how bearish the 10-year yield was. And of even the dollar, it had a big gap up, but as you see, super weak all morning, just selling off the whole time. So when you have the dollar weak and the 10-year yield weak and the market's going down, you definitely want to be cautious because typically when the dollar and 10-year yield is weak, the market is strong. But as you can see, getting that big reversal here. So we can look here at the kind of our analysis page or our kind of market watch page. So we were bullish on the day, right? And another reason for that, we were like bearishly postured, right, with this gap down. Because as you can see, we had a gap down, which is typically bearish, and we pushed up into these midlines, right? And as you see, getting that rollover. But a reason I didn't like this for a short, because I did not think there was that much room to the downside. If you look here on the 15-minute, you can see this lower extreme sitting right here at the open, right there below the open. You can see it kind of pierce through it a little bit, but as you can see, getting a strong bounce off that level. Same here on the Qs, right? You have that lower extreme sitting right there at or below the open. So we did get that pullback, right, off the open, but as you can see, getting a strong bounce off that level because there was more room to the upside, right? You see there was way more room up here towards Friday's highs than there was for a breakdown, kind of below the open. So we were bullish on because of that as well. But we also had downward momentum, right? So today was one of those days that was like very mixed signals at the open. We had bearish price action, bearish momentum, but the underlying like other aspects of the market were bullish, right? So with this, you just got to be super patient, right? So you start getting bullish price action to go along with your bullish kind of thesis. So as you can see, that finally happened here. We got a bullish reversal at that 11.15, got a push up, pull back into our midline, and then a nice move to the upside. Another reason, it was kind of mixed, right? Because you had the SPY pulling back, and if you look at our advancers and decliners, you had the overall market advancing. Even though the SPY was pulling back, you had advancers moving higher, right? You had more stocks kind of moving to the upside than to the downside, even though the overall market was down. If you look at the vol difference, As you can see, just kind of chopping around right there below that zero line on like kind of really weak days, right? You see this kind of sell volume, right? You see a lot more sell volume coming in. So yeah, I bet a lot of people did try to short this today and kind of got burned unless they took profit right here, because it was looking pretty bearish off the open. But you know, overall, you know, kind of for a mid to long term kind of day trade, it was definitely bullish. So now we can go to our 2 minute where we do execute these trades. So our entry was here at about 11 o'clock, right? About that 11, or not 11, excuse me, this like 1 to 105 area. We got long right in here. If you look down here at your oscillator, as you see, getting a bullish cross to the upside right there at that zero line with a 2 minute squeeze with upward positive momentum, right? So this was our entry here at about this 11, or I don't know why I keep saying 11, 1 to like 105 area, like right in here when we did get that nice bounce here. So we were looking at the 430 call options. The entry was down here at about this 38 cent level. So that first take profit, we did take profit up here at the retest of the highs. So at that level, you're looking at about a 150% gain at a retest of the high of day. And then our final take profit actually was up here at the retest of Friday's highs. So we got flat right here. I mean, as you can see, it broke that level significantly, but we were out right here because we had that 15-minute upper extreme lining up with these highs from Friday. So our final take profit was here at about, let's see. Our final take profit was at about a 300% gain on these contracts. That's where we got flat, but as you can see, these made a huge move. These went up 675% to the highs. So insane move on these call options today. Really nice profits here. We can look at our analysis tab. So as you can see on the 5 minute, this is kind of what we were waiting on. We were waiting on that kind of like 3 to 5 minute squeeze. As you see, getting that 5 minute squeeze here, starting at about 1 o'clock. When we did see the squeeze, this is when we started, you know, really to look for our entry. As you can see, holding above that VWAP area, getting back above that midline with a nice squeeze to the upside. As you see, any entry during this 5 minute squeeze would have been money for a retest of these highs from Friday. If you look here at the 3 minute as well, you also had a 3 minute squeeze with upward momentum coming in a little later. As you see at about that 120 area right here. But really, this was just all about that 15-minute chart. This 15-minute chart did look beautiful, as you can see, getting above that midline, pulling back into it with a very bullish oscillator. As you can see, it bullishly postured right there on top of that zero line. Perfect for a move to the upside. And then as you see, getting a momentum flip to upward positive momentum here into the close. I do want to point out on the daily and weekly charts here, we are running into a major area of resistance. As you can see, these previous lows back here from August, right? And we have that daily midline. And if you look at the weekly chart, we also have that weekly midline right there. So we have gotten a nice bounce, but I would expect there to be some resistance here at that level, right? If you look at the volume as well, as you can see, we got a decrease in volume. Pretty low volume day compared to, you know, what we have been getting. It was majority buying, but as you can see, below that volume average. So yeah, I would definitely just kind of be careful at this level. If we don't get like a clean break straight through it, you might see some selling coming in here at this level. As you can see, if you remember that trading video from last week, we were talking about this RSI level being a strong level of support down here with that lower extreme on the weekly chart. It's a really nice continuation to the upside today here in the stock market. Really nice opportunity for call options. But yeah, that should do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.